Hello and welcome to the NASCAR Reno Management Series Season 2 preview. I kind of just wanted to go through all of the paint schemes that we'll be seeing at least from the start in Season 2. I wanted to kind of give the team owners an idea of what their cars are going to look like, give them a chance if they really don't like any schemes, maybe change them out, stuff like that. And then, obviously, so basically this is a scheme preview, but I was also just going to talk over it, just so it's not just a silent hour-long video or however long this is going to be. I'm not going to rush through. I'm not going to try to draw it out super long. I'm just going to kind of go as it goes. I'll be talking about all sorts of stuff during it, so if you want to listen to me ramble, this would be a good time to listen to me ramble. But yeah, I'm going to go in numerical order, so starting with Ross Chastain, number 1, and ending with number 99, Cole Custer. Let's get started. So yeah, this is the first paint scheme for Season 2. It's exactly the same as Ross's Season 1 scheme. Ross has a total of 3 schemes. So yeah, it's his Busch Light scheme. It's the one that he ran in 2024 in real life. Ross will also be carrying the Kubota colors this year. I don't believe he ran the Kubota scheme last year. I think it was this, Wendy's, and Pipple. So Kubota is on the car this year, which is actually really cool. I think they have one of the cooler paint schemes. It's nice to see an orange car in NASCAR. I don't think we have a lot of orange cars. Yeah, Kubota is a cool company. But yeah, orange cars are cool. Reminds me of Jeff Gordon's Dover win in 2014. And then the third scheme is the Wendy's scheme. And I honestly don't remember. Did I make a new Wendy's scheme for this year? I didn't. But it is different from the last year's Wendy's scheme. This is the Frosty scheme. I know he ran this at Mexico City, I believe. Very fun paint scheme. I highly doubt it was fun to make it for whoever made it. But yeah, pretty basic. Ross's paint schemes are the same. They're all real paint schemes for Ross. Not all from 2025. No, this one's from 25. The Busch scheme's from 24, and I have no idea what year the Kubota scheme's from. Maybe 23. I know the 21 scheme, I think, had more black on it, but I may have been the 23 or 24 scheme. Next up is Austin Cindric. Austin has 4 paint schemes. I think all of Austin's paint schemes are pretty self-explanatory. You got the discount tire scheme, classic. We have Menards. So he'll be carrying Duracell in the Menards starts. There's a handful of Menards cars, so they all have different hood sponsors. That's how they're going to be different this year. Same thing I did last year, because I think he runs it, or last year he ran it, Blaney ran it, Paul Menard ran it in the 500, Crafton ran it for RFK at Bristol. There may have been more. I know Cindric is one of at least 3 guys who have it, though, for this season, and maybe even more. Let's see, he also has the Auto Trader scheme, or let's go to Freightliner first, just because of the way that clicked. I love this scheme. It's the Tron scheme. It ran for the first time at Loudon in 2021 with Brad. I was at that race, so I've always loved this scheme. Great paint scheme. I wish they didn't get rid of it for this year. I don't think they ran it. I think they ran a new one. Very sad. And then the last one is the Auto Owner scheme. Yeah, I don't remember Austin a whole lot from season 1. I know Ross made the playoffs, so he won a race. Austin didn't do much. Auto Trader scheme, pretty cool. I love the orange. As I said in the last one, orange cars are cool. But all real life paint schemes, nothing super crazy. This is going to be different. Okay. Austin Dillon, he has 2 paint schemes. This is actually a secondary scheme. This is not his primary. 3 Chi. You recognize it from the 8's car. It's the same paint scheme as the 8, just with his number, the 3 car. 3 Chi's on both the 8 and the 3 this year as secondaries. So pretty cool, pretty slick. Austin is also retiring. This is his last season. He will have a throwback in his last race to his 2014, his Daytona 500 championship in 2018. Not from his first game. I thought it was the first game, but no, it's his final race. It's 500 win for his final race paint scheme. That is not made yet. That'll be made before the final race of the year, which is at Las Vegas, I believe. I honestly should probably know that because this is my series, but I think it's Vegas. I made the schedule a long time ago. Bass Pro Shop scheme is the 2023 Bass Pro Shop scheme. Honestly, the best one they've had in the next gen era. 22 is fine, but it has that white. I don't like the white. This scheme's awesome. 24, I don't remember super well, but yeah. And then 25 sucks because I don't like the base of the um, camping or hunting sale one, the one you went at Richmond in 23 or 24 with, and then ran as a primary this year. I don't like that one. The one he won at Richmond with a couple weeks ago, that was nice. It reminded me of the 2020 scheme he ran at Richmond, or not Richmond, at the Charlotte Roval. That's my favorite Austin scheme of all time. Go look that scheme up. New team, same number, but new team for Josh Berry. Obviously, new team to the Cup Series. It's Tricon, taking over a lot of the assets from Stuart Haas. Got Sunny D bringing over the sponsor as well. Josh will also have a Mobile 1 scheme. Berry is way up here. I didn't even need to move it. That kind of sucks. There we go, Berry. Yep. White on top, black on the bottom. Pretty cool scheme. These schemes were, I believe, the first couple schemes. This and one of his teammates' schemes were the first couple schemes made for the season. These schemes have been made since like April of last year. My God. These schemes I think have been around for like a year and a half. But they'll run. Tricon's now unowned because Tyron, who was a big part of them moving over to Tricon or becoming Tricon, has gone inactive, and I haven't heard from him in a long time. So yeah, Tricon's available if anyone wants to take over them. Kyle Larson, pretty basic. Hintercars.com. I don't think it should be much of a surprise. This scheme hasn't changed. It's pretty, yeah. He has Valvoline on the car as well. I believe it's this year's Valvoline scheme, the 2025 scheme. It is, yeah, it's 2024 scheme. It has the 40th anniversary in the back. I like this year's scheme too, but these are two of the better Valvoline cars. They may even be the same one. I honestly don't remember the 2025 scheme much. I just remember I like it. And then he has a new scheme, first custom scheme, or no, actually, Barry's was custom, but first non-new team custom scheme is his Cincinnati car. So Cincinnati obviously is a big Hendrick sponsor. They work with them. I think they're on like the B post on all the cars every week. Sponsored Bowman, won a race at Auto Club with Bowman. Definitely took a lot of inspiration from that Auto Club Bowman win with the red and the gray and the black. Larson's run a Cincinnati scheme in the past before, though, too. He ran it at Michigan and Dega in 21, and then Byron's running one later this year, depending on when I post this. He has already run it. I think he runs it twice in the playoffs. It's like a American flag scheme, almost like the jockey scheme, but with like a curvy, like a waving American flag. Yeah, that's it for Larson, though. Brad Keselowski, he has 4 schemes as well. King Iron, pretty basic. I think all the Brads are the same as normal. We have the Castrol scheme for Brad. Castrol. I love the Castrol Edge scheme. Nice black scheme with some good color. We have the Build Submarines paint scheme. Keselowski. So this is what I have to do every time, each race, make sure they're all correct, go through all these paint schemes. I don't go through every one, I just obviously go to the one that it is. This is actually the first Build Submarine scheme, back in 2023 when the partnership began. I also saw this car run in person. I believe the first race Build Submarines ever ran was at New Hampshire in 23. Truex's final win. And then Violet Defense. I wish they were still in NASCAR. They have some cool paint schemes. I like the purple was cool, but the yellow's fine. It's kind of cool with the purple, but I'd rather just purple and white or purple and black. Newman's paint scheme. Not the one with the yellow numbers, but the one with like white numbers that they ran in 2021. That's a good paint scheme. It barely ran. I think that's it for him. I may have just skipped Kyle Busch. Yeah, I did. Let's go back to Connor Zilisch. So yeah, rookie in the Cup Series, Connor Zilisch. No rookie stripes because that's a NASCAR rule. You don't have to put them on, and that's less work for me. So we're not putting them on. Yeah, this is the 87 scheme for this year with a 7 card number on it. Pretty awesome scheme. It's cool. I added the Embedder Health and WeatherTech logos in the bottom quarter panel just so it represented his other 2 schemes. So yeah, spoiler alert, his other schemes are Embedder Health and WeatherTech, which are also the schemes that Zane Smith ran last year. He's at the bottom because he's Zillich. Let's look at the Embedder scheme. My favorite scheme from Season 1, or at least my favorite scheme that I did not make from Season 1. I love the Embedder Health scheme. I wish they run it this year. I just think it looks really classic with that striping. I basically tried to find any way possible to get this card to run again, and when Caden said he would like to run Embedder Health, or I maybe even tried to convince him to run Embedder Health, I can't remember, I was very happy because the scheme's awesome. And then WeatherTech, pretty simple. Also, Zane Smith's paint scheme from last year. I did the red numbers on the side and the blue number on the roof. That's different. I believe he has only red numbers in the 71 car. But yeah, cool WeatherTech scheme. I'm glad they're in the sport now with Connor and Shane. Now Kyle Busch can get his time in the sun. So this is his secondary paint scheme this year. This was his primary all of last year. The only scheme Kyle Busch ran last year. But the Candyman is back. Kyle Busch is sponsored by NANMS again. This is the 2020. I used the 2022 scheme to basically base off where I placed all the decals to make sure it looked right, because M&M schemes are really tough, at least for me. Especially with all the way that the M&Ms on the hood kind of merge between a few parts in the car with the hood and the front bumper and the side. M&M schemes I always have a big issue with, but I wanted it to look as close to this as possible, so I used the 22 scheme and went off of that. I think it came out pretty good. I was very happy I found basically all of the correct expressions for all the M&Ms. It was actually really easy to find all the correct. I think maybe like 1 or 2 of them isn't the same, but I'm happy with how it came out. And because that could have been a lot tougher of a scheme to make. Now we have Chase Elliott. This is actually his 2025 scheme. He ran the 2024 scheme last year. Now it's the 2025 scheme. I think this is a better looking scheme. They got rid of the white in like the little arrow thing on the door. So now it's just the yellow outlining. I think it actually looks really nice. It's probably my favorite. My second favorite Chase Elliott Next Gen scheme. The 2023 scheme is head and shoulders above the rest, but sadly he got hurt, so that scheme has awful connotations to it. But that scheme was awesome. I actually wonder if they did the blue side in front of the arrow, if they made that white, I think it would be very close to the 2023 scheme. I don't know if it'd be exactly the same, but that would look cool. This is also his Daytona scheme. The way the front of the car is, how it goes straight down. I believe he only ran that at Daytona and Talladega, or Daytona in Atlanta. Maybe at Daytona, I'm not quite sure. It normally goes in front of the car, but on this it goes straight down. It's one of those weird Hendrick things where they change the paint scheme because they're probably messing with the car some way, and it helps with tech. So yeah, you see it a lot with the spikes on Larson's car, and they've done it a handful of times. There was that time when Byron's car was basically all blacked out on the front of the Exalta car at the end of 23. Hooter scheme, 2024 Hooter scheme. Awesome scheme. Best Hooter scheme Chase has ever run. Even better than Night Owl. That's my opinion. Very bright, very cool. Got the Lumar scheme. I was going to talk about last season more, but I just started talking about NASCAR, and I like to talk about NASCAR, so I'm going to do that instead. It's the 2025 scheme. It ran at Mexico City, and I believe it's coming up at like Bristol or something pretty soon. Lumar did not run last year. It was on the I did have the paint scheme for it. It just never ran. Tanner never picked it to run. Let's see if it runs this year, and if not, Lumar is going to go 2 years out of the race. And then Universe. I really hope I kept the old Universe scheme. Let's see. Yay, I did. Yeah, this Universe scheme is so much better. This year's Universe scheme sucks. I know what they're going with. It looks like the trucks. Universe is a mass-based company, so I've seen their trucks in person, like going to Patriots games and stuff. And it looks like the truck, but this scheme's better. I have a diecast of the 2020 scheme, and I think those schemes are kind of cool. So actually, my first Chase Elliott diecast was the 2020 Universe scheme. Daniel Suarez is switching his number to 00, which is cool for them. It ended up being kind of a cool swap because Aiden wanted 00 for Daniel, and RFK, which was Alex, well, he wanted 99 for Custer, but originally Daniel was 99 and Custer was 00. So they swapped numbers. They didn't do it. They didn't know they were swapping numbers, but Aiden wanted to switch numbers. He switched to 0. I let Alex know because obviously Roush and 99 have a good connection. Alex wanted to switch, and then I let Aiden know that 00 is now available because I know he was interested. And now we swapped the 00 and the 99. Because yeah, Custer was going to run the 00 this year originally, but it's the same paint scheme as last year, just with a 00. This is a custom scheme. I made this scheme at the beginning of last year. I think it's based off of Hamlin's 2022 Coca-Cola scheme. I think that's how I got the swoops at least, and maybe yeah, almost certainly with the way the C post is. That looks like a JGR C post. And then I added some logos and stuff. I thought that scheme came out well. He also has Freeway on the car, which is also a scheme he had last year. Again, I believe it's the exact same paint scheme. Yep, it's last year's paint scheme, but I changed the number. Cool looking though. I like the 00 font with the Trackhouse swoosh. I think the 0 would have looked kind of forced. And then the last one is the iFly car, which I don't remember which car I based it off of. Yeah, so it's this paint scheme. It may be Ross's. This scheme ran with both Ross and Daniel in 22. Obviously, Daniel won his first race, but Daniel was Onyx Homes. I think this iFly scheme is... It's either one of the Onyx Home schemes and I adjusted it, or Ross ran an iFly scheme at either... Ross ran it at Coda and at Richmond. It could be one of those schemes, or it's the Daniel scheme. And I changed some stuff up. It must be an iFly on the side, though. I think I put iFly on the hood, but there's no way I put those logos like that on the side of the car. So it was probably iFly on the side. So if you want to know what car this was originally based off of, find that. I see Be a Moose. I don't know if that's on Daniel's car. I know that's a Ross sponsor. This is almost certainly a Ross car. It has Be a Moose and Advent Health. So if I had to guess, Ross's first win is this paint scheme. It's either that or he ran it at Richmond. But yeah, I also added the Coca-Cola logo. There was another, I think iFly was on the hood down low, and then Onyx was on the big hood, so then I moved iFly to the big hood and moved Coca-Cola to the small hood. Harrison Burton's next. He is moving over from the Wood Brothers to Penske with Lucy in charge. It's the Dex imaging scheme he ran at Wood Brothers, just with the O2 for Penske. Those schemes look weird because they're from the early 2024 when the Ford Dark Horse didn't have a logo on the front. And I don't feel like adjusting it, so at least for now it's going to stay that way. He also has Dead On Tools, which I tried to base off of his current Xfinity car. So it has that gray color on it, because there's kind of been two takes on Dead On Tools. There's been the gray, which Harrison runs this year, and then there's that white and black, which like Tricon ran in trucks. So I tried to go gray because that's the color that Harrison ran. I also had a AAA because I needed something to put into that corner, and I thought AAA looked nice. It kind of popped. So yeah. And then his third scheme, here's another one of the Menard schemes. He will have, let's see, Richmond. So this is actually the scheme that Paul Menard ran last year. Because I know I had Paul run the Richmond scheme because my Paul Menard diecast I have in the 27 is a Richmond scheme. So I kind of always associated Paul Menard with the Menards colored cars with Richmond. Just how things go. I think it was an Authentics car. But yeah. Next up to the defending champion car. Obviously, Denny Hamlin retired after the season. So Jesse Love is moving over to Joe Gibbs Racing. He is on loan from RCR. It's a 2-year loan. And then there's a bunch of there's a bunch of clauses in the contract depending on how the next season goes. This is actually a secondary scheme of his. It's just the Mavis Tire and Brake scheme. This is the only non-custom scheme that Jesse has. Jesse's other schemes are go to his primary next. C4 will be his primary. Heavily inspired from that Kenseth's Dollar General car, has that yellow. And then the Home Depot on the back, because Home Depot is also on this car as a sponsor. Pretty simple, pretty cool. Very easy to spot on track, I can tell you that for sure. We also have Overstock. I'm going to make you wait for the Home Depot car. Here's Overstock. I don't remember what this scheme looks like. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, Overstock. Red, white, Home Depot on the back. Pretty simple. I may have even... Let me check. I think I may have put the Home Depot logo on the Mavis car. That may have been an old Mavis car. Nope, I did not. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. It honestly would probably look pretty awful, because that car is not designed to have a rear bumper with the Home Depot thing on the back like Kenseth's car had. Here you go. Here's the Home Depot scheme. Very simple. Nice stripe. And then it fades to the back, the rear bumper, Home Depot. Don't remember why. I know, I think I messed it up. I think I put like Husky Tools on the back or whatever, but it was black and I didn't like it. So I changed it to that. But it looks fine. Pretty cool car, in my opinion. That's it for Jesse. Ryan Blaney's up next. Blaney has 4 paint schemes. Menards Peak. That was the same scheme Blaney ran last year. I really liked when the playoffs happened. I changed the roof, the greenhouse on the on his car for the yellow number. I did that to him and Logano's, and I thought it looked even better. I may even do that full time this year. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably see if Lucy responds to this. If she hears this point, they can let me know. But if not, I'll ask her, and we'll find out from there. Advance, cool scheme. Reminds me of Rusty Wallace. There's body armor. Blaney body armor. It's the scheme he finished second at to Daniel Suarez in the 3-wide finish at Atlanta. Cool body armor scheme. They haven't really had a great scheme since the 19 and 18 scheme. I think it was 18, 19, 20. That or I guess up until 21. That scheme I really liked. The next gen schemes have been fine. I honestly can't think. Oh, he ran the yellow one in 2022, like the energy one. And then he has Pennzoil, one of the most divisive cars in NASCAR history. It feels like either you love it or you hate it. I've always loved it. He's won a couple times in it. I think it looks better with the black number, but I did like it with the neon number, the Menards yellow Dayglow number that he won at in the Roval with. But I always liked it. I wish he ran it more. Yep. Ryan Preece, he is moving over to Colleague Racing to take the 13. I like the 13 for Colleague. I hope they eventually bring it to Cup full time. I don't know if they ever will. But I think it looks good and it fits in, at least with Colleague, with the 10 and the 16 in Cup now. Maybe they will. Colleague still has the 31 in this series as of now. The 10's actually open. It's the lowest open number. Fun fact. Not really that fun, but it is a fact. United Rentals car. Took a lot of inspiration from Austin Hill's United Rentals car. Tried to get that smoothness on there. I'm really happy with how it came out. I think the United Rental colors are really cool. They're actually my hometown's colors. Just, we use a brighter blue. And then Chevrolet accessories. This is a paint scheme I made last year for Allmendinger when he was in the car. And it was so good. It's honestly one of my favorite paint schemes I've ever made. The massive Chevrolet logo in the bottom quarter panel. Or not the quarter panel. That's the bottom of the door, essentially. The back bottom. I really like how that turned out. So I really like this paint scheme. And I loved doing the hollow Chevy logo on the rear deck lid. I did it for a Hemrick scheme. it was like one of the first next-gen cars I made on NR 2003 because I had done it on my phone on Paint.net, no, on Sketch, and then I transferred it over, and it was a 16 Daniel Hemrick Poppy Bank scheme, and it had that either on the door or on the back, and I loved it, and that was definitely heavily inspired this one. So yeah, that's Priest's new team. Hopefully it's good for him. Another new team, new driver. Dragson moves to the 14. They're keeping Tricon's doing a 4 theme, so the 4, the 14, and the 44 will be later on. Pretty cool scheme. There's some coffee grounds below the number, if you can tell. This was with the berry scheme. The scheme is so old compared to the rest of them that I made. And then he has a Mobile 1 scheme as well. It's the inverse of Josh Berry's scheme. So his is black on the top and then white on the bottom. And I even swapped, if you see the little red and blue thing I have, I swapped those as well on the C post. So yeah. Next up is Kaz Grala. This is Kaz's only scheme. Kylie makes it really easy for me. Each Rick Ware car has one paint scheme. So it's real simple to keep track of what car they're running. I love Kaz. Boston kid, or north of Boston kid, but Massachusetts driver, only one. Now Gio Ruggieri's there, but for a long time he was the only Mass guy. So still love Kaz. Great driver. Shouldn't be sidelined. He should be full-time in at least Xfinity. But I'm glad in this series he'll get to be in Cup full-time again. He was great last year, early on. For a while it looked like he was going to point into the playoffs, but then it just went downhill. But early in the season he was insane. Martin Truex, the massive silly season move from season 1 to 2. Truex brings over Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Boats. This paint scheme has also been done for a while. These were some of the first paint schemes. It was this one, and the Tricon schemes were in a folder by themselves for so long before I started doing the season 2 schemes. He's also bringing over Auto Owners, which has some cool design elements to it. It has the white top, so because I think the Auto Owners logo, I don't think that A is transparent. I'm going to be honest. I think that's actually like a block. So I had to make the top of the car white. And I thought it looked nice, and then I did the transition. You have the really light blue in the front, and then it goes to a darker blue in the back, which was close to his 2018-17 scheme with Ferranturo. So I wanted that gradient. So you got the gradient there. Then he also has the Ford scheme, which is the same Ford scheme that I made for Ty Majeski last year. I don't think he ever actually ran it though, since Ty's season got cut short. It's also the same Ford scheme that the 60 runs. So the only difference is I believe the 60's number is white, or 60's number is blue. This car's number is white. But yeah, just the racing stripes. Pretty simple. And then the last paint scheme is the Castrol scheme. I know when I did the Castrol schemes, I themed them. So all 4 RFK cars have Castrol schemes. 2 of them look alike, and the other 2 look alike. I think his was Brad's. I think it's Truex and Brad have the same Castrol scheme, and then Buescher and Custer have the same Castrol scheme. They're all Castrol Edge, but they have like the red roof number. I think Brad has a red roof number. You'll see Buescher's in a sec, how it's different. Buescher's back, fast and all. Pretty cool. 2024 scheme. Honestly, can't think of the 2025 Fastenal scheme. It may be also the 2025 Fastenal scheme. I just don't remember. I'm going to skip the DeWalt scheme for a sec. I want to see the Castrol scheme. Yeah, so Buescher's a black roof number. I think that's the big difference. So Custer should also have a black roof number. I think they swap the green and the red as well. So like how this car goes, it has like green at the bottom and red right below the lights. I think the other one has it green right below the lights and red on like the bottom by the splitter. Hoping this is all coming out to kind of okay. I'm moving around a little bit, so I don't know. And I'm covering my mouth at certain points. I just will bring my hand up. But if anyone's watching this thing in full, thank you very much. You must really like to hear me ramble. I should start a podcast. I know I've thought about it for many years. I just don't have time. I feel like I forget about these series enough as it is. I don't think a podcast would help. NACS is struggling. New DeWalt scheme. I didn't love the one I had last year. It was the what am I blanking? It was the scheme he ran the throwback to in 22. So I adjusted that scheme to be an actual DeWalt car instead of just a throwback. This is a fully new DeWalt scheme. I think it looks pretty decent. Pretty simple. DeWalt black and yellow. Pretty awesome schemes, as Eric Estep loves. And then Violet Defense as well for Busher. Yep, it's the Violet Defense scheme. I believe it's either the same as Brad's or very similar to Brad's. I just skipped another driver. Corey Heim. 18 car is back. Corey Heim. This is really the Truex replacement because when Truex got replaced, it was the 4-car rule, and then I expanded the 5-car rule, so then Tree added the 19 back in. So this is basically the 19 team, if you want to think of that, even though there is a 19 team for Joe Gibbs. This is actually, I believe, Ty Gibbs' paint scheme. Yeah, it is, because it has the monster. I'm like, I could have just used Kyle, or no, I couldn't have, because they've changed the body. But I was like, I could have just used Kyle Busch's 18 interstate scheme. I don't know why I didn't do that, because they changed the body. That's why I didn't do it. He also has, this is not a primary, this is a secondary scheme. His primary is JBL. Which, little known fact, I hate making JBL schemes for every reason. I like making orange cars, not JBL cars. For every reason, I always think they come out bad. I don't think it looks awful. I don't think it looks great. It's kind of just there. Yeah, I think the orange looks good, but I don't care too much for the actual design. It's an okay design. He also has Xfinity, which is a custom scheme, I do believe. Yes, it is. Cool gradient to Xfinity. Pretty simple scheme, but sometimes simple is effective, and I like that sometimes, and it helps me get through more schemes. Then he has a sports clip scheme, which was not a simple scheme to make, because I had to. I don't remember if I took Denny's paint scheme. Oh, I hit Xfinity again. I don't remember if I took Denny's paint scheme or if I took Ty's Xfinity or Ty's Sport Clips paint scheme. But whatever I did, I had to then download an 18 scheme. This is Denny's because it says FedEx on it. To then the friend side was fine. Like this, the driver's side was fine because the 18 has that natural lean. But I had to get the reverse leaning 18. So I think I had to download a Kyle Busch paint scheme to then take the 18 off of that for the passenger side to then have the correct lean to match with the paint scheme. I also had to recreate the gradient, which came out pretty well. You can't really tell that it's a recreated gradient, which is all that really matters. How did I skip Sebastian Bourdais? It's Larson's 2016 scheme. I remade it. I made it myself, but it's Larson's 2016 scheme. Everything's basically exactly the same. Even the Coca-Cola and Cottonelle, that's what they had on that scheme on that back, and I didn't want to write out Target, and I thought that looked better. The back bumper is black. That's different. I do like black rear bumpers. Dale Jr. used to have that. He had like the dark gray one. It was something that he always liked. So I've done that on a lot of schemes. I think sometimes having a rear bumper that's different from the car is always kind of cool. But yeah, gradient from white to red. Target, pretty simple. Big name sponsor. Everyone knows Target. Christopher Bell, DeWalt. As always, it's the 2024 scheme. We also got JBL for him. I believe it's the same paint scheme as Corey Heim. That is true. I honestly think it looks better on the 20. I think the 20 is the cooler font with the JBL, but yep. We also have the Craftsman scheme, which I don't know if I must have remade. Yeah, I remade the Craftsman scheme because I did not like the one last year. I made like partway through the season, and the red, I matched the Craftsman red to the logo, but the logo I had wasn't super like strong Craftsman, So I just made this as red as possible. I think it looks way better. I tried to take some inspiration from the 2021 scheme, which is the best craftsman scheme. Those Gen 6 craftsman schemes between Bell's 2021 scheme and the scheme that Eric Jones ran are so good. They've only really run, I think it's been like the craftsman, it's like a charity scheme. He runs it at like Chicago every year. It's not a bad scheme, but I wish they would do a regular craftsman car again. We also have Xfinity, which is, I believe, also the same paint scheme as Corey Haim. Yep. Christopher Bell Xfinity. Same paint scheme as Corey Haim's. Riley Herbst is in 21. These are honestly some of my favorite paint schemes that I made. It's up there. It's either this one or it's up there. Sammy Smith's, which are later on. He's in the 44 for Tricon. He has some of my favorite paint schemes. It's a monster car. You probably could have predicted what it was going to look like 15 hours ago. Then we got South Point for Riley, keeping that Vegas connection. This was originally Aiden's scheme. How did I screw that up? I don't know how I screwed that up. I swear I made a Riley South Point scheme. I don't know where that went. But that's Daniel Hemrick's South Point scheme, so that's interesting. Oh, maybe I hit... Hemrick and Herbst are next to each other. I hit Hemrick's. That looks better. I don't know. I didn't notice that. But Hemrick and Herbst both have H's and both have South Point schemes. Yeah, it's a South Point scheme. I don't like doing South Point schemes because it's tough to get their logo correct because there's not many logos for it on Google. And the ones there are don't look very good. I do like I have Welcome to Las Vegas on the rear deck, on the rear bumper. And there's a little bit of red, but it's a South Point scheme. It's nothing too special. There's been cool South Point schemes like Hemrick's that I just kind of spoiled it, even though it's the real one, and you'll see it later again. That's probably my favorite one. That or Brendan Gaughan's. Brendan Gaughan had some good ones. Ford Motorcraft. It is a throwback scheme. It's throwing back to, I believe, the 90s Citgo schemes they had. I made a bunch of 21 car throwbacks at the beginning of this year for an Instagram post on my Donald Designs Instagram. Basically, since it's their 70th anniversary, I made a bunch of throwbacks. I think I made it was this one. I made a throwback, I think, to the early 2000s. And then, like, a Cale Yarborough car and, like, a David Pearson car. They were, like, 70s. But yeah, this is my favorite Wood Brothers paint scheme, besides the common one. And I want something different, so I took it. I changed Barry to Herbst, and now we're here. We also have the Pete Store. That's the only other one. Which I don't remember if I remember this Pete Store one. I remember the other Pete Store one. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, Peterbilt. Oh no, this is, yeah, I like this one because it has Peterbilt on it, which so does one of Sammy Smith's cars, but this one has black, red, and then it has that diamond grading that a lot of those trucks have. I thought that came out really nice. The Pete Store logo also kind of has some diamond grading on it. But yeah, I also did the Monster logo with the Monster splat behind. It's a logo that you'll find on Google if you look up for Monster. So to keep that idea of the Monster on a black background. Next up, we have Joey Logano, Shell Pennzoil. It's the 2024 scheme, not the 2025 scheme. It's fine. It's Logano, Shell Pennzoil. They're always fine. We got Hunt Brothers Pizza, because that's the one I clicked on. It's the Hunt Brothers Pizza scheme from last year. We also have Discount Tire and Auto Trader, the other two. I just when I saw another logo in there, but maybe I was wrong. Oh, I do have Pennzoil. Oh no, Pennzoil is the main Pennzoil scheme. I thought when I saw Pennzoil, I didn't think Shell Pennzoil. I thought of the scheme he runs at Vegas every year. That's really cool, the black one. Not the one with the red numbers, but the one with the black numbers. I think he won it at this past, like the one he won at 24, I think. Was that right scheme? I know he ran it in the spring race in like 23. The year he started on the pole and wrecked. I know that year in the spring race, that one's the cool Pennzoil scheme. It's like black with like stripes, or it's yellow with black stripes. Auto Trader scheme. inverse of Cindrix, the better version of Cindrix. And discount tire. I think I fixed the discount tire scheme. Gonna find out. I did. I used Blaney's scheme as a base instead of using Cindrix because the 22 was really squished last year, if I remember correctly. I think it was the 22 that was squished. Either the 12 or the 22's side number is squished from last year because of the way that that car is. Because the two font's smaller. So the discount tire actually comes further towards the front of the car, so it would squish the number. Bubba Wallace has McDonald's. This is probably the paint scheme he had last year. He has Lidos, which I still remember the day I figured out what Lidos was when I went to the airport that one time, and I saw the machine. I'm like, oh, they sponsored Bubba a couple years ago, because I remembered it from when he was in the 6 at Roush. And then they came back and sponsored him again, because that was like 2021, and they came back in like 22 or 23. Dr. Pepper stayed with him in this universe, which I like because Dr. Pepper is awesome. One of the best sodas. Zero sugar. I don't drink Dr. Pepper zero sugar, drink regular Dr. Pepper, but it's a cool paint scheme, so I don't really care. We also got the Columbia scheme, which is the gold Columbia scheme, I believe. They always change the Columbia scheme, so I kind of went with the one that they've done the most, which they've done this one, I think, on both this car and the Gen 6 car. The other one they've done on both, I think, is the blue one, the light blue. The car here, I believe it was his first Columbia race with 2311 at Vegas. That one's cool. I have the diecast of that one. And that's the most like true Columbia scheme that I think of, but this is the one he ran last year, so I kept it. And then a Money Lion's the last, which is just a teal blob, essentially. 2311 needs to hire a designer to make a better Money Lion scheme. Or maybe I will. But right now, that's what he has. Then we got Byron. New paint scheme. As a primary, it's the Exalta scheme because that scheme's cool. From this year, with the gradient, the original Exalta scheme, they changed it. If you didn't know, because Hendrick changes everything. Except crew chiefs. They change everything else. They change paint schemes like there's no tomorrow. They also have the Liberty scheme, which has been the same since 2022. They did actually adjust it at Richmond a couple weeks ago. I noticed it during the race. They added more white below the Camaro like headlight assembly, and I think it looked better. But this is just the normal Liberty scheme. Got Valvoline. This is this year's Valvoline scheme. This is the new Valvoline scheme for Byron. Last year's, I think, was the gray, which I didn't like as much, but this one's cool. The light blue's nice. And then he also has Raptor, which I believe is the new Raptor scheme from this year. I don't see why I would have changed the Exalta scheme and not the Raptor scheme. Yeah, that's the new Raptor scheme, I think. Yeah, it definitely is. I don't remember what the Raptor scheme was last year. It may have been like it was the gradient one, I think. Hendrick's also expanding to 5 cars. They have the 25 now with Lane Riggs. They brought in Loves because front row let them go. Yeah, this is basically a front row car running for Hendrick, even though it's completely owned by Hendrick. Because it has a front row driver, front row sponsor, and even the secondary is a front row secondary. Because it is, or was a front row secondary. They're at They went to Spire they followed McDowell. But in this one, they followed Lane Riggs. And now their car looks like this. So, yeah, those will be Lane Riggs' paint schemes for his rookie campaign. Hemrick brought back Circle. Circle's really good if you've ever tried it. It's pretty good. I have one. I got one like back when they first started sponsoring Hemrick. Back in 24 or 21, 22. First year at Colleague. And I really like mine. I forget about it, so I won't use it for a while, but they're cool. And they help me drink more water. He also has a South Point scheme, which we saw earlier when I screwed up the Hemrick and Herbst schemes. It's the scheme he ran at Vegas in 23. It has the 23 logo on it, but it has his name rail. So either I changed the name rail, or the person who made this scheme stole Haley's, because Haley was in the car when the NASCAR 75th anniversary happened. And then he has a Hyper Race scheme, which I made last year for, I believe both him and Allmendinger ran it last year. Or no, I didn't make this. I made it, but I didn't. It's the 16 scheme from the last year. Hyper Race sponsored them in 2021. They changed the scheme at the very end of the year, and it looked like that. It was either 21 or 22, but they changed it and it looked worse because the logo got worse. Zane Smith, one of the best stories from Season 1, has moved over to RCR. He was so close making the playoffs with Spire. He was top 5 in points all season long, but didn't win a race, and that screwed him over because every playoff car that made it had won a race. We had like 20 winners in the regular season, and the only non-winner that made the playoffs originally was Chase, because Chase Elliott won the regular season title, and that's a rule. It goes regular season champion gets in, and then the guys who won. So Zane didn't win the regular season championship. He didn't win a race, so he missed the playoffs, which really sucked because he deserved to be there. Cool Lowe's car. Lowe's is back. Both Lowe's and Home Depot are back, which is kind of cool. With young drivers too, so that should be nice for them. Zane also has, Zane's at the bottom because they do Z Smith. He has a night scheme. This is the day. This is the night. Just an inverse. White at night. I'll let it spin one more time. But yeah, White Lightning was kind of the inspiration behind that with the white night car. What Jimmy used to have. He also has a Cobalt scheme, which I believe is a different paint scheme. It is pretty simple, black and gray. Blue rear bumper though for Lowe's. And then he also has a iRacing scheme, which is one of my favorite schemes. Because it is not symmetrical. It has blue on the front on one side, it has red on the front on the other. Basically, whichever side the logo is. Because the iRacing logo, when you flip it, it switches what side the red's on, what side the blue's on. So I just followed that and then matched them up in the center. Because I'm not a party pooper like NASCAR, so I let cars run that have two different sides. Yeah, they should have let Terry run it for his final race. Chase Briscoe brought over High Point to front row. It's the same High Point scheme he ran in 21, I believe, or not 20, in 22, and then I think he brought it back in 24. 23, I think, was different. Or no, it was the 21 scheme. It came back in 23 and 24. The 22 scheme was when they had all the cool electronics on the side of it that they did the black version, and then they ran the black version again at the 7500 and won with. Very confusing, because for whatever reason, when they ran the black version again, they ran the 2022 scheme instead of the scheme they were running that year. But the cooler car one, that one's just tougher to recreate, so I used this one. He also brought in Mahindra tractors. Same deal. It's the 2023 scheme, I believe, because it has the tire. I don't think the 2022 scheme had the big tire. I wish they didn't lead the sport, because they would be cool as well at JGR with him now. I think I miss High Point more. At least with Briscoe, but Mahindra sucks that they're gone too. And then the sit-go car, all of the front row cars have a sit-go car. They're all sit-guard car, all exactly the same. Josh Balicki, this is actually an updated insurance skin car. He ran one last year. I made some adjustments to make it look better, in my opinion, and I think it came out a lot better. I really liked the way I kind of just updated things. I kind of took the original ideas and just went forward with it. So yeah, Josh Balicki. He also has a sit guard card, as they all have a sit guard card. It's the same paint scheme. They all have the exact same paint scheme. Let's go down to as far as I can. Todd Gilliland is up next. There are so many cars. There are 47 cars that are running full-time this season. That is insane. A lot of full-time guys will not run full-time. He has Generator. He also has Sit Guard because they all do, as I've said about 15 times in the last 5 minutes, probably like 3 minutes even. Hit generator again. I'm tired. It's late, but I wanted to record this video. Gilliland. Here's the Sit Guard car. It's exactly the same. I believe this is the original one, and then I did the other two numbers, because he actually ran the Sit Guard card in 24. And then the Rude Bush car. It's also a real paint scheme for him. Now we get to the Legacy expansion. They have a third car now. Sheldon Creed moved over. He was part-time in the 84, actually won a race. Now he's in the 41 because Stuart Haas closed and Cole Custer didn't keep the 41 as he moved to RFK. Actually, Priest was in the 41 last year. He went to Colleague. Custer moved back up, but instead of moving up with Haas, he moved up with Haas sponsorship to RFK. So yeah, it's a collaboration between San Francisco 49ers and Levi's. Mainly a Niner scheme, but has some Levi's sponsorship there too. He also has Dollar Tree paint schemes, or a Dollar Tree paint scheme, which is the same paint scheme that John Hunter Nemechek runs. Just adjusted for the 41. He also has a Family Dollar paint scheme, which is the original Eric Jones paint scheme, but as you'll see in a couple ones, you can see it even now. Shane Van Gisbergen's in the 43 now. Eric Jones is in the 71. If you look further down, he went to Spire. He got released from Legacy, and then Spire hired him to run the 71. And then finally, he has an Advent Health scheme. A lot of paint schemes for the Legacy guys. Not a lot. It's the same amount as they all do, but yeah. So that's his paint scheme group. Now, Jonathan Nemechek brings in a fun group of paint schemes. I actually need to check these now because I forgot to do that beforehand, and I made these a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so Legacy and the WWE created a partnership in this league. So both John Hunter and Shane Van Gisbergen have WWE schemes. This is obviously the SmackDown scheme. They're all basically the same. They all have this cool black design. And then the background changes colors for SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. The rear bumper changes network for SmackDown, Raw, NXT. So it goes SmackDown's USA, Raw's Netflix, NXT CW. And then I put the top men's belt on the deck lid. And then on either quarter panel are the highest men's champion and the highest women's champion. So this one has Cody Rhodes and Tiffany Stratton on it. I believe they both have their belt as of now. I made this scheme like right after Cody got the belt back, so I didn't have to change this one. But yeah, I need to make sure I'm planning on changing it every time the belts change. So hopefully not too much, but who knows? I like both Tiffy and you can even see I have a lot of WWE paint schemes here, just so I know. The NXT with no number is the original one. Same thing with SmackDown just gets cut off. And then the one has the actual belts. I don't know NXT, so I don't know these people. And I will need to be checking every once in a while to make sure they still have their belts. I do like the CW on the back because CW is orange and I think it pops a little bit. And then he also has Dollar Tree still, which is the same paint scheme he had last year. I believe also the same paint scheme that he won in last year because John Nemechek won a race in Season 1. Definitely, I would say probably the most shocking winner from Season 1 was John Hunter. I guess maybe like Amarola because he was part-time, or Creed. But to me, it was super shocking because that was so early. And that was like race 3. And it was 2 Penske cars had wins at the time. And that was it. And then he wins. And I feel like he didn't do much the rest of the year. And then he also has the Safeway car. It's just his real-life Safeway car. Now, the Raw scheme, I do believe I need to change because I believe Naomi gave up the belt because she's having a kid. Or Naomi. So that one to change, but the rest of it's staying the same. Seth still has his belt, as far as I know. But I think either there's a new women's champion or there's no women's champion right now, because I know Naomi's having a kid, and she has to give up her belt. And then he has Family Dollar, which I believe is the same Family Dollar scheme. He's towards the bottom too, because he's Van Gisbergen. Yeah, if you ever look up, his name is spelled, Van is actually not capitalized in Shane's last name, in case you're ever writing his name, and you want to write it properly, it's not capitalized. This is Eric Jones's paint scheme. But yeah, if you ever want to like correctly write his name, the Van is lowercase. The V in Van is lowercase. It's not capital. He has Mobile 1, which is kind of an odd scheme because I didn't even really notice it until the end, but kind of forgot. Obviously, Mobile 1 is a sponsor of Toyota and stuff, so that's why they're through here. But I put the Petty Blue on there. This is the same paint scheme. I think this is the original scheme that I was gonna run for 2311's part-time car last year, the 50. But then Caleb made a new paint scheme that they would run instead. So then I had this paint scheme kind of as a back burner. It was in the sheets, or it was in the files, but it never ran. It's just the regular scheme that they actually ran last year. But then I took it and then I changed. I think it was gold, and I changed it to Petty Blue. But obviously, Petty Blue is STP, and STP and Mobile 1 aren't like true competitors because one's an additive, one's an actual oil, but it still feels a little odd. But I think just in general, it feels a little odd that Mobile 1's on a Petty car and not STP. Even though STP's on it every once in a while through Dollar Tree, I believe. Just like it was this past weekend at Daytona. I'm making this the night before the Southern 500, so tomorrow night is Southern 500, and then Connor Zilic just won Portland a couple hours ago. And yeah, Shane's last paint scheme is Advent Health. I believe it's just Eric Jones's Advent Health scheme. Yep. Next up, Sammy Smith. This paint scheme has a bit of an interesting lineage. It started as a paint scheme that I made for Sammy, but I was gonna make like a Joe Gibbs Racing of the Future kind of paint scheme thing a couple years ago. So I had made a William Sawalich 11 car, and then I made a Sammy Smith 18 car. This was on the old Toyota Camry body. And I still had the files for them. So, and luckily I had the original files, not just the exporter one with the template on it. I had the actual paint scheme file, so I had everything underneath. So I basically just took it and adjusted it for the newer Camry body and put the 44 on there. He's also on loan. He's on loan from Gibbs. So Gibbs is loaning out a driver and getting a driver loaned to them, which is kind of odd, but yep. And then these are two of my favorite paint schemes. These are also the last two paint schemes I think I made. Allstate, which is Allstate Peterbilt. Pretty cool, just mixing that's the grayish silver and the red. I don't even know if he's running the Allstate Peterbilt car this year. I can't picture it. He must, because he always runs them all. But I just can't picture it with the new 8 font. And then the TMC car, which is my favorite Sammy Smith scheme, both in the game and in real life. TMC has the cool orange stripes and the goldish tan. Yeah, TMC. Then I have Tyler Reddick, Beast Unleashed 2024 scheme because they downgraded. We also have the Money Lion scheme, which is the same as Bubba's but with some black on the back of it because Monster. Then we have the Mobile 1 scheme. If I can click on it, there we go. Oh no, this is where the Mobile 1 scheme came from. It was Reddick's Mobile 1 scheme, because this is the same scheme that Shane's running, just the white is Petty Blue on Shane's. Should make that red on his, match his number like I did with Shane's. And then Xfinity, which is not the same Xfinity scheme that Corey Haim has, because Reddick actually runs an Xfinity scheme. didn't have to make one. And then Nasty Beast is the last one, which is a flavor of Beast Unleashed. It's a scheme he ran at Daytona in 24 with the yellow. I think he won a duel with this car. Didn't Toyota sweep the duels that year? Ricky Santos is back. Irish Spring is back. It's just the core Irish Spring scheme. It's the 2024 scheme. He ran this at the 600 last year. The original one was the 2022 scheme, so it has that dark Kroger blue. This one has a lot more white. I think it just looks better. I may change it throughout the year. I'm not sure yet. I basically control JTG, so it doesn't really matter. Alex Bowman has two paint schemes. He has the new Ally scheme for 2025. Honestly, one of the better Ally schemes I think they've ever made, probably up there with 2021. And then Bowman's second sponsor is Walmart, which is a fun scheme to make. I don't think I've ever made a Walmart scheme. But yeah, it's a Walmart scheme. It's blue, yellow, and white. Justin Haley, let's get back to an easy one. It's the same scheme he ran last year, one paint scheme, Fraternal Order of Eagles. It's the real life scheme he ran in 2024. Ty Gibbs, I guess Sport Clips is the car that I currently have for him. That is not as a tertiary scheme. He also has the Monster Energy scheme. I don't think any of Ty's cars changed. It was the only Gibbs car I didn't have to remake. I know that, or I didn't have to make multiple schemes for. He Gets Us. I guess I should go with that first. They suck as a company. But here's the paint scheme. I honestly don't remember if they're sponsoring him this year. I don't think they are. But like in real life, I don't think they're sponsoring him. They have Monster, because Ty's always been sponsored by Monster, basically ever since he started. And even in those blacked out cars that he ran in 21, those were Monster cars, but because there was a deal with Rowdy and Rowdy Energy, they couldn't advertise it for certain reasons at certain tracks. I don't know. Maybe it was like wherever they had Rowdy in the market. I don't know. I saw Rowdy Energy like once, I think, at like a CVS around here. But that was like years ago now. And then the last scheme he has is Interstate Batteries, which is here. Yeah, Ty's paint schemes aren't super interesting because they're all real life paint schemes. Next up is AJ Allmendinger, who also has Target. A little different. Obviously, I wanted to make it pretty clear that his car is different from Bourdais. I also didn't talk much about it, but yeah, Sebastian Bourdais is now a NASCAR, so that's an IndyCar driver moving over. We'll see how he does. But yeah, I want to make it different, so it's white with red on the back. Has the Target shopping cart, which is pretty cool, I think. Has a dog on the back, and then the 66 font's pretty cool. It's Rick Ware's font, I guess, for the 6. They've never run a 6 car or a car that had number 6 in it. They've run a 56 or a 16, because I think they've only ever run 51 through 54, 15, and 17 in Xfinity. I don't think Rick Ware's ever run anything else, but this is what the font was for the number set, and I think it looks actually pretty cool with the 66. Taylor Craig got a slightly different JBL scheme. I know it may not look intentional, but it is intentional to have the JBL scheme, how it like goes straight and then pops down where JBL is, and then pops up at an angle after JBL. That was intentional. It may not look intentional, but yeah. Also has the Jumpman logo on the quarter panel. That is Jesse's primary. We also have Operation 300. That's not Jesse. That is Taylor Gray. I may have just been calling him Jesse Love. I'm tired. I think I mentioned that already. But Taylor Gray, he was obviously part-time with XCI Racing last year, but now with the new rules, XCI Racing is no longer a team because Gibbs doesn't need it anymore. Tony Stewart's running in the 500 and the 81, by the way, though. For Gibbs instead of XCI, but the 81's not going away. It's still going to be part-time for Gibbs. Operation 300, this scheme I think came out pretty well. I honestly could see them running a scheme very similar to this in person. Also did the Jumpman in the corner. And then the last one is his This is his dead-on tool scheme. It's very similar, as I talked earlier about Harrison Burton's. I did the same thing where his has, when they ran it in Tricon, it was white and black, so I made his white and black, whereas Burton's was gray. So yeah. One of my favorite schemes. Pretty cool dead-on tool scheme. They were a fun one to make schemes for. Eric Jones goes to Spire to run the 71. This is the Nation's Guard scheme. One of my favorite paint schemes. I remember the first time. For everything, I didn't love the Hendrick one. I guess it's because it's just the Hendrick paint scheme with the colors when Larson ran it in 21. But I fell in love with it when Spire ran it in 21, and when I started playing on NA 2003, actually racing on NA 2003, I used it. So I've always had a good soft spot for the Nation's Guard cars, and I'm glad they still run. I think this was originally a 7 car, and I changed it to 71. That sounds about right. But they should run on the 71. I think it looks best on the 71. I think the 71 is the coolest number font of this. Well, I think it's the coolest number of the Spire cars. Eric also has a gunk scheme, which is just the Michael McDowell gunk scheme. And then Eric's third scheme is, I'm blanking on it, Gainbridge, which is also the same paint scheme that Michael McDowell runs. Haley Deegan, I forgot, yeah, they have 5 cars as well. So yeah, Penske has 5 cars. They have the 02, the 12, the 02, the 2, the 12, the 22, and now the 72. Haley Deegan, it's Odyssey batteries, and that's it. So Odyssey battery, I was actually very surprised to find out when I looked it up. They've never run a cup race, I'm pretty sure. It was something stupid like that, or they've never run a cup race for Penske. They're a big IndyCar sponsor of Penske, so I think I just always assumed because a lot of those paint schemes cross over. A lot of the Penske sponsors IndyCar race at NASCAR and vice versa, but they've never run in Cup, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look that up now as a check while I keep on talking. But yeah, they've run in Xfinity before. They ran at Kentucky, I believe, with Cindric in 2020. He may have even won a race in the Odyssey battery scheme. But yeah, I was shocked when I found out that they never run. And if you're wondering how I found that out, Racing Reference, which has sadly taken a step back as of late because NASCAR took ownership of it and they kind of didn't care about it as much. But yeah, the only Odyssey battery schemes that I've ever run were Jeff Burton back in 2012. He ran one at Pocono, he ran one at Martinsville. That's it. Whereas in Xfinity, Cindric ran it a handful of times. He ran it 3 times in 2020 and 3 times in 21. He also ran it at Daytona with the 60 car. Did he flip that race? He ran it the Daytona July race. I feel like he flipped in both races. I don't know if I'm correct on that or not. I know he wrecked in both races. He finished 33rd in this one. But yeah, so those are the only Odyssey battery schemes that have ever happened in NASCAR are all scallop schemes as well, at least with Penske. So kind of a different take on it. Next up is Carson Hocevar. It's the premier security scheme. I think it's one of the better looking schemes that he has. He also has the Chili's scheme, which is new this year. He did not run it last year. Ride the Dente. That song's awful, but the paint scheme's awesome. And then Ziegler as well, which I may have adjusted the Ziegler scheme. I don't remember. I did. So the Ziegler scheme he ran last year in this series was a scheme he ran at Daytona, which was a half Ziegler, half Gainbridge paint scheme. It was the Daytona 500 paint scheme for 2024. This is just a pure Ziegler car. So they have some cool cars. Rajah Caruth is cup racing because we only have 2 people left. Rajah Caruth is cup racing for Trackhouse in the 91. He has 2 paint schemes. The 91 was supposed to run last year. Kara had a bunch of drivers planned out, but then never gave me the races he wanted to run them. So, yep. Aiden took over, Kara stepped away, and Aiden took over the team, and Aiden hired Raja. GoPro is one of the sponsors. I believe this is Ross's paint scheme from 2022 at Martinsville. Ross and Daniel both ran one. They were inverses. I believe this is Ross's, though. And then Caruth's other paint scheme is, I never know how to say it. I think it's Liuna. It's the scheme, or it's the company that has sponsored Ankrum and trucks for the past a ton of years. I'm glad they changed their paint scheme up when they got to McAnally and Ankrum's career took off again, or at least rebounded, because those years at the years at GMS were rough, and the years at Hattori were real bad. But now he's back. He's competitive to an extent. He's very consistent. But yeah, I like the dark blue that they have on the new schemes. So I definitely made sure I would encapsulate that with the Liuna scheme. And then last but not least, we have Cole Custer's 99. This is the 41 Haas Factory team car from this year, just with a 99 font on it. And then he also has Violet Defense, which is this paint scheme. And then he has Castrol, which should match Buscher's. I hit the Haas scheme. Almost there. This is the last one I need to hit. Hopefully I don't screw this up. Castrol. There it is. Yep, black roof number, just like Buscher. So yeah, those are the 2025 NASCAR Amino Sprint Race, or NASCAR Amino Management, NR 2003 Management Series paint schemes, at least the base ones, I bet. We'll add a bunch more. We'll add all the throwback schemes. We'll add the playoff schemes, and then we'll add just random requests as teams go throughout the season and want to run fun cars. Maybe even we'll do Light Night again. I'm not sure yet. That was a fun thing we did last year where they all had the same template. We did it at Iowa, if you remember that. Like, I remember all the Hendrick cars had the, I took the Night Owl template and then did that with Chase, and all the same cars were in the same paint scheme with just one color changed. I know all the Gibbs cars ran Interstate batteries, just with different colors. All of the Roush cars used that Buscher throwback that I was talking about, stuff like that. So yeah, and then I want to talk a little bit more, but I want to show you one last thing. If you ever wonder what car I am like the user of when I do these races, it is this Martin Truex 4 car, which is from the NASCAR Amino Cup Series, the NACS, where Truex has moved to Stewart Haas Racing. Actually, he's won 2 of the first handful of races. He won Sonoma and Vegas. So this is the paint scheme I used to take the picture of the car when it won Vegas. And since I did Sonoma after, I don't think I have a picture of the Sonoma car in the post. But yeah, it's a cool car. It's similar to the one he has in the 16, if I scroll up to the 16. But I don't think it's the same paint scheme. Yeah, it's not. So like the 16 has a stripe almost. Like the stripe coming along there, running parallel to the RFK pylons. And then this one also has an orange rear bumper, where it's got a black rear bumper, and it goes down after the door number. So yeah, the only other thing I wanted to talk about while we look at this Truex scheme is about the upgrade system for Season 2. I don't know if I've talked about this yet. But yeah, so last year, the upgrade system was kind of broken because I did driver ratings, which is going to be coming back. I think that's very important because we don't need just complete chaos every week. So driver rating will be back. These are all new driver models. So everyone's based out right now from 40 to 60. Even the guys from last year, I guess I clicked on Haley, which was a guy from last year, but even a guy like the Chase, who did really well last year. Everyone's based right now. I'll go through it. I'll update driver ratings, create the new ones I need to. And then the teams will start out with this rating, the 40 to 60 for a vehicle. Last year I had each manufacturer had a certain like rating, but that led to Toyota having an advantage for basically all of last year because I think it was Toyota had the best aero, Chevy had the best engine, and then Ford had the best chassis. And then originally it was like you had like a 75 if you were the best at that. Second best was 70, and the third best was 65. And each one was first in one. So I think Chevy was engine first, chassis second, aero third. Ford was chassis, aero, engine, and then Toyota was aero, chassis, engine, something like that. That led to Toyota having a massive advantage. Toyota won a bunch of races early in the year. So then I toned it down a little bit. I made it so your top one you were above, and then the bottom two were all 70. So it was 70, and then your top one was a 75. But since Toyota had engine, they were ahead. Still wasn't as bad, but they were definitely better than the Chevys were last year and the Fords. I think Ford had the worst package last year. They were good on the super speedways because they had good chassis, I guess. I think maybe they had aero and Toyota had chassis. I don't remember exactly. I know Chevy was engine. I know that for a fact. I don't remember who was who. And all of those cars are offloaded into a different file folder now, so I don't have them to quickly access. I will also be posting. Clover had asked me if I'd be willing to post the season 1 lineup. So I can actually, I meant to do that a while ago. I can post the season 1 driver tars, like the driver ratings, driver tars or whatever Forza calls them. I know this isn't Forza, but that's what the best way to describe it, in my opinion, is. I can upload them, and then I can also upload my import-exports folder from season 1, because there's a ton of paint schemes on there. There's like a couple hundred paint schemes on there. For all the cars, all the playoff schemes are on there, the throwbacks, the late night cars, everything. All the part-time cars, stuff like that. But yeah, this year, going back to the new upgrade system, driver rating will stay the same. I'll update them hopefully a little more often. I may do or maybe probably won't update them more often. I will actually update them though, because I was doing the 6 races. I'm going to probably do either once every 12 races update or once every 18. So I'll update either at mid-season or at the 2 quarter points, or update like mid-season and before the playoffs, something like that. But we're starting with base star ratings. So like Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske, RFK, probably. I'll need to go through the teams, make sure it's right. They will start with 70, I believe. I believe you guys voted for star rating first. Just so it isn't complete chaos off the bat. Let's check it out. I haven't done any of the ratings yet, which is why I don't remember off the top of my head. Yes, so manufacturer ratings to team star ratings. So that was one of the 3 rule changes we had. So the top tier teams will start probably with a 70. They got 50 to 70. Mid tier teams will be 40 to 60. Bottom tier teams will be 30 to 40 or 30 to 50. And then maybe if there's any real back markers, I don't think the only real back marker would really have been Rick Ware, and I don't want to put them at that big of a disadvantage, so they'll probably just be with the lower tier teams. And then every race, no race will be within 24 hours of the next. And I will be sending this out again before the season. If you interact with the posting of it, either on Amino or in Discord, in any way that's not just liking it on Amino, so commenting either in the chat or on the post, anything about how your cars did, I don't really care if you even read the post. If you're like, good day for us, bad day for us, I don't care. Cool win. Our paint scheme looked nice out there. I don't care. If you interact with it, you can upgrade any of whatever you want. It will be 1 upgrade per race. And just participate, and then tell me what you want to upgrade. You can either send me at the beginning of the year like a list of upgrades you want to do. Maybe you want to do aero for the first 5 upgrades, then go to chassis, then go to engine. Maybe you want to just do it per race as you do it. So every time you do it, you can just put it at the end of your the thing, like Good race, let's upgrade aero. Good race, I would like to improve the chassis. I don't care, but just the more active you are, the better your team's going to get as the season goes on. By the end of the year, the best teams will be the most active teams, and then I will keep those ratings and we'll keep on going. I'll probably bring them back a little bit, like a kind of a rule reset, but the better the team was at the end of the year, the better they'll start off the next year. I'll either start saying with the 5-star teams being a 70 to a 50 next season, but then it'll be the new 5-star teams. So let's say, I'm just going to use JTG as an example because no one owns JTG. Say JTG is really, they're very impactive. They comment on every post or whatever, do whatever. They'll end this season as a good team, and then they'll start next season as one of the best teams as well. And with winning, it doesn't really matter if you start a year bad. As long as you improve throughout the year and you win a race before the playoffs, you'll be fine. Um, but yeah, that's the big rule change there. And then it'll be same thing if you have a good team. I think all the good teams are owned, so I'm not going to use one as an example. But if you have a good team and you just don't participate at all, your team's going to lose. I don't care if it's Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske, RFK, 2311. If you just don't participate, your team's not going to be good eventually. They're going to fall off. They're going to be like Roush in the 2010s. But yeah, and the other rule changes, 5-car team limit. You saw that with, I believe Gibbs has 5 cars, Hendrick has 5 cars, Penske has 5 cars. Those teams will also be allowed to run a 6th part-time car if they want. I know Gibbs is running a 6th part-time car. Oh, both. Yeah, I know Gibbs is running a 6th part-time car. Probably mention this now. We do have 4 entries for Daytona as of now, part-time. Austin Hill will be running for RCR in the 29. Ty Majeski for RFK in the 60. Tony Stewart in the 81 for JGR. And Legacy for the 84 for Jimmy Johnson. Those are the only races I have for those guys as of now. Actually, I have more races for Hill. I just haven't done the race schedule for Hill. RCR also has Amarola and McDowell running 5 races for them each. But yeah, so Gibbs is going to run 6 cars at Daytona and hopefully make them all in. That's also where the top 35 rule will come into play. No more charter system. Better be top 35 points though. I will put as many cars on track as possible. Most races I'll be 42. Some races that'll probably be 40. If I can fit 41, I'll do 41, but I don't know how many races that will actually be that will be 41. But either 40 or 42 cars per race. Top 35 rule. I'm going to start this season by effectively, Daytona is like Indianapolis. Anyone can go home. There is no lock-ins at Daytona. The duels matter a ton. No locked front row either. If you qualify, it doesn't matter because qualifying for the duels is kind of random, especially because I'll have to do qualifying and do the duels. No one's locked into their starting position. No one's locked into their race. I'm on Chase Elliott currently. If Chase Elliott wrecks at Daytona in the duel, Chase Elliott will miss the Daytona 500. It sucks, but that's how this is going to work. We're going to have, I would be shocked if we don't have a James Hinchcliffe 2018, I think it was, type moment where a big name misses the show. Because there are going to be like 50 cars showing up to Daytona. There's 47 full-timers, 4 part-timers, and there could be another car or 2 that show up. I don't know yet. I don't know what people's plans are. But yeah, so that's it for this this video, kind of kicking off season 2. I'll let you know if there's anything else important before the season starts. Thank you for watching. If you watch the whole thing, you're amazing. This is almost an hour and 30 minutes now, and I just rambled with no sense of it. I don't know why you would listen to me ramble for this long. But yeah, that should be all. Hoping to start season 2. If I had to guess, October. I know I had originally said August, but then this got postponed. It's the last day of August today. I have to do driver ratings, and then I'm also in school now. And we have like terms, so I'm pretty busy up until October. It's the week of Columbus Day. I'm off. We get that whole week off in between our terms, and we switch classes. This first term, I have a big research paper due. And there's another big application I need to do this term. So this is a busy term. And I'm going to New Hampshire in a couple weeks. So probably not racing in September. Probably just doing driver ratings and some testing and stuff. But definitely, I would expect to be back in action by October. I'd be pretty shocked if we're not back in action before Halloween, at least. This series, I know I'm a little bit better at keeping going than Camino Cup series because everyone seems to care about it more, and I care about it more. I enjoy it a little bit more. Camino Cup series is fun because I have full creative control, but this one's more fun it's easier for me to do, and it's kind of fun to watch the races. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you watched the entire thing, you're awesome. If you didn't, no hard feelings. I get it. Hopefully you saw your new paint schemes, and if you want to change any, let me know.